Welcome back, everyone, to the Quarter Circle. I'm just Dave, your host. Tonight, we are going to talk about interesting things, some uninteresting things, and then some interesting things again. With me tonight are, of course, Kez and Laz. What's good?
Not tonight, but hello.
Yeah, we
We're not
record these
gonna
in the
bring it.
afternoons.
We're not gonna bring it out in time anyway. We could act like this is like a late night show.
I'm breaking the illusions right here. I don't care. No immersion here.
You can see the sunlight coming out my window. Like, there's no fooling anyone. Like,
But it's night in our soul. That's the thing. Look, it's
so
about a
true.
mindset. It's not about a date at time. Laz, listen. Instead of dismantling my introduction, how have you been doing? How's your week been?
Yeah. I mean, it's been pretty busy week. At least from me. Generally, my girlfriend comes to visit every so often, and when she's down during the week, we tend to get up to stuff, which makes it a little bit busier. Don't get to spend as much time playing video games, sadly. But she's gone now, so it's time to relax. Lean back, play some fighting games. But no, it was a good week. I think obviously we had the Aqua Tour as well on the weekend, which was a great watch.
Oh yes. We'll be talking about that shortly. Yeah, Kez, how's your week been? You've been really busy on the YouTube, right?
Have I? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, the
You
video.
have been. You have
This
been.
this is like right after I uploaded the knowledge check video, which I started editing this morning. So yeah, I don't like they don't like the YouTube things don't take too long. I just like cut the segments out and then like zoom in on when they do funny faces sometimes. And then I did an intro this time to like add some context, I guess. And yeah, then I uploaded it. Yeah, I as always played video games and worked on some other projects. New knowledge check, pull my card still. That's just my day. Yeah, my thesis got delayed for another month, so I just like, oh my god, I have
Oof.
so much time.
Thesis?
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
So,
thesis.
Yeah, so it's like a very good thing. So I just have like a shit ton of time to just, you know,
Like your thesis.
like my thesis.
Very
I'm almost,
true.
I'm like, it's not even like registered, and I'm almost done with it too. So like, what the fuck yeah. But Dave, what have you been?
Proofread it a few times.
Just send it to me, and I'll accidentally leak it, and it's gonna be a whole disaster. It sounds great. I've been doing well, I think. I've been having a real nice breakthrough with my hands. I can finally play fighting games again in moderation, of course. But I'm back. It's time, lads. See me on ladder. Other than
Fine.
that, I've mostly been doing commentary and packing up this piece of shit apartment because we're moving in 2 weeks and nothing's done, and I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, moving stressful, man.
Bro, it's the worst. It's genuinely, we've been living in this apartment for almost 10 years, 10 to 12 years, right? So there's just so much
Yes.
fucking stuff in here. There's at least like 3 versions of Dave that just lived in this apartment, and I need to pack up all 3. It's just weird, man. It's just really, really weird. But it's still nice. It's good to
Exciting.
declutter. For sure. Um right. But you know what? Let's just move straight up to Arc River Finals, right? We talk a little bit in this segment always about what happened, like which tournaments, but I don't even want to talk about the other tournaments. Let's talk about Arc River Finals because that was a sick freaking event. I enjoyed watching that a lot. And very funny, they implemented a few things that we talked about last week regarding the production angle, right, Kez?
That is.
What was your favorite part?
So first off, I really didn't like it.
Really?
Like Revo. Because of emotional reasons, because of the turn of events at the first tournament. How that tournament went, that upset me greatly, and I went to bed very early. I did not watch Strive. I watched obviously the VOD, but it was also late, and I don't stay up late.
Oh yeah,
it was.
But,
it was.
I wasn't. I didn't have the greatest time watching it. But I don't know, immediately, like, my favorite part was of what I watched live was, like, I remember, like, the like some of the player interviews, and then Lost Soul came up, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember, like, for some reason I just, like, he started talking, and then I felt like, oh no, I don't know, because I had so much, like, trauma from other esports event. I was like, man, this is gonna be hell.
Yep.
But then Lost Soul, like, had this, like, very beautiful, like, speech about his late mother and everything, and, like, and about the game, and I'm like make a 180 turn, and, like, immediately went from, like, to, oh yeah, let's go, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think spotlighting someone like Lost Soul is a good idea, because, like, he tries to always talk into the camera when he, like, wins a round, but blood, we don't know what you're fucking saying. It's always like
It's so good.
it's always this, and, like, what the fuck is he talking about? But
We need somebody to, like, start dubbing over that, just, like, make random ass speeches and just use the Lost Soul footage. It would be really, really funny. That's actually a good meme template. Get on that, Kez.
I don't know. That's Lost Soul. You know, Lost Soul gotta perform more for that. Yeah, but yeah. Before I want to get into why I didn't have that much fun, Laz, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part was obviously, I mean, well, the DNF section. All right, let's just be real. Like, you know, that was pretty much the only time I could have stayed up for, really. So, because for us, I think it started at like 9 p.m. right, or something like that.
Yeah,
8 p.m. for you, 9 p.m. from
8 p.m. Yeah, so pretty much I got to watch all the DNF, and then I went to bed. So it's hard to say what is my favorite out of that. But yeah, I did enjoy the intros. The player intros were kind of cringe, but some of them kind of hype. Some of them kind of hype, and it was just kind of unique touch. Some people thought it was, like, you know, really bad, but you know what? It's like a little charming. I don't want to, you know, thinking about other esports events, like it takes me back to like Faker from League of Legends when he did a roll on stage. Like, they were coming out, I think it was the World Finals or something, and he does like a freaking Vayne tumble. He doesn't even play Vayne. Why is he doing it? But, you know, no, uncalled for. It was kind of cringe, but it was kind of funny.
No, I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah, it's great. And this is kind of what the intros remind me of, but, like, with, you know, actual high production quality.
Can we talk about how good K-Top looked in his player introduction? Like, man had the absolute cleanest fit. I love that so much.
He is dripped. K-Top is dripped out whenever I see him.
He's dripped the fuck out. It's so cool.
Patent turtleneck, you know, like,
oh. I don't know. I genuinely don't know if it was like a reference to that one picture of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like the one with the turtleneck and the chain, because it looked very similar to it.
Right? You think no, that's the turtleneck effect. You automatically look like that wherever.
Yeah.
The great equalizer.
The great equalizer. Speaking of,
hey,
it's the OG turtleneck rocker, you know. Like, that's I remember true. I saw him and K-Top at the mix. They became friends almost instantly, not just because of DNF, but because of the shared love for the turtleneck. It was, and to see the, you know, they obviously played quite a lot as well, so it was like a battle of the turtlenecks, you know. Exciting stuff.
I think that's really, really, I don't know. I think that's really cool. If you have, like, this distinct style, like, if people can pick you out from the crowd, I think that's when you've done your brand building correctly. But yeah, I think we're not the only one that really liked the player intros last, because, like, Dragoi, she tweeted out as well that it was by far her favorite part, and, like, a lot of other players were just like, oh my god, these player intros are so damn cool. I don't know, man. I don't know. The favorite part for me was you could just see the players were having a lot of fun doing these.
Some of them.
Right?
Some of them, definitely.
Some of them.
Like, Lampon was perfect. His is the best one. Xander loved it. He brought his own hat, bro. Calvados! Yeah, I don't know what the hands are doing, but, like, that's a good one.
I think Mystic tried his best to not frown.
I think Mystic hated that for sure.
Man, I don't know. I'm really bad with names, so I'm not even gonna try to remember. But the striker player should have done, like, the ass shot that striker has.
I was ready for them to do it 100%.
They probably did do it. They probably did do it. It just didn't make the edit.
Didn't put it in.
I'm
Bit
99%
inappropriate.
sure I'm 100% sure. I'm calling Arx's cowards to not put that in because that would have been genuinely funny. I would have
There's
liked
something
that a
special.
lot.
There would have been something special about it. Because, like, look, if they can put it into the game, why can't they just put it on the street?
Yeah,
Make
for
the guy do
sure,
it.
for sure.
I think it'd be great.
Definitely has
I love
some
that
cake.
shot. It's just so good. I don't know why. Don't get the wrong idea, but like, just that intro. It's just like there's no need for it. It's completely unnecessary, but it almost makes it funny.
No, tell me more. Tell me more. Why do you like it so much, Laz?
Well, you see,
I'm zooming in on you.
I
right
don't
now
have
in
to.
post, you know? I'm like,
Look, I just think it's just the right amount of sexy, you know. That's where I'll leave it. Okay, she's not
Muscular
overly
women are
sexualized in
good.
any way, but like they just show off for that one time, and then that's about it, you know.
you can message me later if you want to keep that part in.
I don't, look, I've just got a spade right now. I'm digging myself a hole. All right.
But yeah,
Let's
I
leave it there.
personally really enjoy the whole event. I actively watched DNF until the end, and then I had Strive on the side while I was playing a few runs of Returnal, but like checked in from time to time, mostly for the player intros. But that was it. But in general, I quite liked it. I liked a thing that a lot of people didn't like, but I think was really, really cool, was in the potential last
Gotcha.
rounds, you had the player cameras. And that is something that I've personally wanted to do anyway for my local. And seeing it executed like this really is giving me confidence. Like, I think it's such a good idea.
At first I felt like when I was seeing this, I was like getting mad and like, I don't show the thing, but then I realized
It's on
you
purpose.
still see the match, enough of the match, you know. It's
You are
not,
showing the thing.
It's not as offensive and disruptive as it looks like on paper. So I actually I did think that was a cool idea. Like, and we got the good shots of like Mochi versus Skill, where like
yeah,
Skill's doing
that
this,
was good.
Yes.
like this.
It's just so good.
Yeah, that was very funny. No, I thought that was a really cool idea. That was brave of them to do, and it paid off. Even though for the first 2 minutes or like first moments, I was like, this shit. No, actually, makes sense.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it happened at UFA as well. They did that pretty well as well. There was a lot more cuts, like either just after the round finished or like just as the match is starting, during like important moments. Someone hitting like a reversal CA. Obviously, the super animation plays or something. You know what's going to happen. Like you got at least like 5 seconds to do something else interesting with the production. And I think that's a good sign of like some quality production is when they do something with that time, right? Like either cut back, see what the player reactions are. I think that's an important part as well because you get to see those reactions when these things are happening, when they win, when they lose, and it gives a bit more like personality to the players, which is really good.
Yeah,
which we
and
talked
that's
about a lot, last week.
Yeah, exactly. That was like something that we talked about a lot last week, and I think we got the player shots right as something that we asked for. We got some player interviews. It was canned interviews, but I understand because especially like a production like this, you want to keep things tight, so you just want to be able to exactly have the time slot filled with a can interview. Literally the only thing that was missing was some player present at the analyst desks, and I think it would have checked the majority of the boxes that we brought up last week.
Yeah, it really they really didn't have a single DNF player on the desk, huh?
They really didn't, but they can't always do that. I know Lazarus was busy that weekend.
No one left. Yep, there was no one else.
Yeah,
zero people.
No, apparently.
But that's a different discussion. Let's wanna go into the things that we didn't enjoy. I think Kez would like to take the helm on that, right?
For production, I would just be a hater if I like tried to shit on it. Now, the one thing that like just the dichotomy of everything like looking like really well, and then on DNF, like people like were mad at me for telling them it because they didn't notice themselves, but it ran in windowed mode the game, and the scene and whatever it was.
I'm so glad nobody
like
else noticed
a single gap on the bottom and on the left, and that tilted me so fucking hard.
That's producer
I didn't
brain.
even
That's straight up
notice.
producer
I was
brain.
watching my phone though. I was watching my phone.
No one noticed it until I said it, and then when I said it, everyone got mad at me for telling them. But like, it was like, how does that happen? Because everything else, like, it looked really like there were like 2 different teams working on it. You know?
I mean,
Yeah, but that was just like a
probably.
funny haha thing, obviously.
Yeah, scuffed.
I obviously wasn't a big fan of not having anyone who plays DNF on that desk and having commentary. I forced myself to have it on to like get some sort of opinion about it. You know, maybe James Chen did read up on everything, but it was just like a whole lot of nothing, sadly. And obviously, you know, I'm very salty about EU unfortunate placement. It really, I felt
Scuffed.
so bad for Mystic. I felt so, I was like legit, everyone, we watched it in voice chat, and we were like legitimately sad, you know?
Same.
And
I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed, man.
It was kind of poetic for the EU, also, I feel like. You know, it's just like, I don't know, to just like end with like, oops, sorry, the 2 players you didn't want to have to play, there they are, back to back, and like, yeah, both EU players went last. It's very, very sad, and Mystic didn't deserve to get knocked out that fast.
No,
he was the only one to take games off Goichi. It was. Really,
I don't understand why
Only
Goichi
one.
versus Mystic was the first fucking game
it
in
was
the
randomly
tournament.
pulled. It makes sense. It's just unfortunate. It's
just fucking re-randomize it. I
And
don't
then
care. Like,
in the
a little
losers-
bit of seeding should be there. You don't. That was one of the hypest matches, like in the scene.
I mean, it was basically for me. It was the most exciting match.
yeah,
Like the rest of it was a little sleeper. There's a lot of like Kubo matches, which I mean, look, it's Grappler. He gets Awakening. He makes a comeback. You can call that hype if you like. But Yusheng Char's games were pretty good as well. But
yeah,
like,
YSG, my god.
yeah, he was cooking for sure. But like, Goichi on the screen, not against Mystic. It was sleep, bro. Like,
Yeah, didn't
it
drop
was
a
sleep.
single
He just
game. No one
didn't have to try.
Nobody managed
No
it.
one, no, for some reason, no one like knew the Crusader matchup or something. I don't know. Obviously, Mystic's gonna know it the best out of everyone there, probably just because of Mr. E. But
Not even.
it just felt like no one knew
other
it.
Crusaders, like there was.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
And
Yeah,
Mystic,
there's more than enough
Mystic for the
Crusaders.
first time saw that fucked up setup too, like in the corner. That
Yeah,
and he like found a
guard break.
workaround in like 2 rounds, which is insane set.
Yeah.
You know, so
I
sad.
popped the fuck off when he got that roll. Like, holy shit.
Yeah,
He
it was
just kept
last
getting
second.
blown up, and then he just solved it. He just straight up solved it. And I was kind of angry at the commentators for not, like, pointing out how insane it is that he figured out that setup after only 2 games.
One of the, I almost want to say like one of the most impressive things I've seen in DNF, like adaptation wise. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my main problem is that, you know, we didn't have anyone to represent the game, and everything fell short. And what it mean, and like obviously the announcement afterwards, but like we can get to that later. But what consequences it has on the DNF scene right now is fucking tragic, and I saw them coming.
I mean, it's not surprising the way Nexon has treated everything.
We don't know if it's Nexon. That's the thing.
Nexon or aiding. I don't care.
Or ASW. Could be all of them. That's the problem.
Yeah, it probably is a combination, and that's the problem when you get, you know, too many cooks, right?
We genuinely don't know. But yeah, no. We'll talk about that a little bit later, I think. But yeah, no, I don't know. I enjoy the production a lot. There were a lot of things that just, I don't know, were frustrating, especially the panel. But other than that, I don't know, man. I just, even if Sajam doesn't know what he's talking about, he's still like highly charismatic.
Sajam was good. Like Sajam knows DNF the best. Like
when he talked, by the way. But if you notice, like they took like quote unquote turns to like pause, and like Sajam was like quiet for 90% of the whole thing. I think James Chen didn't take a break, which tilted the fuck out of me. I'm not.
He doesn't take breaks, man. He's on the grind.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I love that about him.
It's you know, in the first Redacted episodes, we talked at length about that, and I saw today on Twitter he reposted something from Blue Linkies, or like, oh man, he won the tournament with this, and like even after our Revo tour, like I think he wants to look like, yeah, I support DNF, which is, you know, I feel, you know, I respect that. I respect. Like, that's nice of him, you know, to consider. But yeah, I don't know. It had left the bed after.
Sure. hey, but at least on Strife end we got skill
Yeah.
pop the fuck off.
That was
Like
great.
I don't want anyone talking shit on EU ever again. Please, please.
Let's drive. Yeah.
Bro,
No, in
there's just no
general.
way.
Yeah,
Like,
but, yeah.
Just stop talking shit on regions.
but there's no way that Soul Bad Guy wins the whole thing, right? Like, this guy is maybe Arc System Works were cooking, like nerfing him like 5 patches in a row. Maybe they knew something that we didn't, because like somehow he wins the Arc World Tour and he's gonna get nerfed again. They may as well just remove him from the game, bro.
Still gonna win somehow.
It's so
They
upset.
they'll
find a way. They're literally
gap.
gap.
I don't know.
Literally gap.
Yeah, I don't know. We both saw skill win versus fighting, right? Together. It straight up just looked like he played better. Every time I look, like
he does.
I don't know that much about Strife, but I swear to God, every time I see skill play, he's like, okay, he's just better. Like he just straight up outplayed, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he beat Gobu in the Zato matchup. Clutchest round ever in like basically a near unwinnable situation where he's forced to block Zato, no burst, no meter, no nothing, and has like 20% HP, and Zato's got like 100 meter, and he just blocks like 8 mix-ups in a row and just wins neutral afterwards and then wins the game from this unwinnable position. It's just like, yeah, he just actually beat your ass. Like you gotta hold that.
He just outplayed him. That's the thing, right? Like he didn't do any big shenanigans, any like cheese. Didn't get saved by system mechanics. He just straight up outplayed his ass. Just played so damn well. And yeah, I think what you're pointing out is really the thing that I personally love about Skill, because he shows like he's that phantom that shows up every 3 months, and every 3 months he's just a completely different player. Like he has evolved completely. That's just really impressive.
I see him in Twitch chat a lot, like in Daru Ino's chat, you know, sometimes he's just asking, but I'm like, I never see him like and I play in any tournaments, but that might be just, you know, French install. You know, they play in locals.
Yeah, they do their own thing.
Sometimes they show up and they win or some shit. Isn't Skilled? I swear I heard the story of like 2 weeks ago that like until a couple years ago, Skilled didn't even speak a word of English or something. I swear to God.
That wouldn't surprise me.
This might be just gossip and clickbait, but I have to throw it in there. I swear I heard that.
Skill doesn't speak English?
He does now, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, learned it pretty quick if he couldn't speak any of it a couple of years ago.
There's some story where like they saw like a bunch of French people with Google Translate just in the middle of like a tournament, and they had I don't know who told me this, but I think they helped them out in the end. I might be clickbaiting. I'm sorry. Skill, if you speak English, merci.
Je t'adore, merci. All right, but yeah, that was Arc Revo. I don't know, man. I'm hoping. Okay, I know this sounds really shitty, but next year, please get some EU commentators on there as well, and maybe like get some SEA representation as well. Like, I just want to see something else than 4 Americans at a table, man. Please.
Like, yeah, who like really are not that involved in Strife. Like Tasty Steve. I mean, he commentated Evo, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't play that game that much. I don't know. James Chen we talked about this at length. Sajam, you know what? Sajam for Strife, yeah. I'll take it.
He does so much.
Who's the other guy? I keep forgetting his name.
Ringe.
Ringe.
Yeah, that guy's, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I like Ringe. I think he was like Ringe was more playing the role of the host, and I think he was doing that really well. Yeah. Right? Like Sajam was obviously there as an expert, and then James and Steve at some point were caller commentators, and then Ringe was doing the hosting. I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it either, but yeah, next year there's a lot of talented people that are not situated in America. Maybe one camera less, but like one different commentator that isn't from California.
I mean, yeah, I think like, to be honest, like the production, like I really don't want to disrespect, but like it was basically just like a small event hall. Like we've been to majors that like have a better event hall than that, which is not to like knock on them for what they had.
Wasn't
it
was just amazing. A studio?
Something like that. It looked like just like one studio. But like compared to like the last one, or like the Red Bull Kumite for Strife, where they were in a fucking Coliseum, you know, that one was like way better. you know.
Oh, yeah,
but
for
like
sure.
for what they had, it was perfect. They seemed to like want to save on money. I just guess, you know.
I don't hate the scale of it. I think if you can, like, if you want a controlled environment and have, like, I don't know, 50 to 100 people in on a soundstage with, like, players up there, I think a studio is just much, much better for that esports feel. Like, it felt a lot like LCU. Just some of the local, like, of the smaller league streams.
Yeah, I was about to say it felt like a small league stream, not like a World Finals. Like
Yeah,
compared
exactly.
to Street Fighter or Capcom Cup. Compared to Capcom.
LCU, LCK, like that's kind of how it felt to me, and I don't mind that feeling, right? Like it's a step in the right direction for me, anyway.
Was it the? No, it wasn't the first. No, they had done it for you. But yeah, I don't know. Now that I think of it, yeah, it wasn't really that for like a game as large as Strive. That was kind of small.
I mean, it is like an 8-hour event as well. You got to keep that in mind. Like, obviously, if you think about the
Capcom
majors that
Cup is
we've
a
had,
week.
that we've seen. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, that's why it's worth investing on like a much bigger venue, because you're gonna get a lot of people coming in, you know. Whereas like, are you gonna travel all the way to California for like an 8-hour event? Maybe, like, I don't know. Like, maybe it was that kind of idea where, you know, they want to keep it nice, short and sweet, and there's no point splashing out on such a huge venue when to book out when realistically, you know, not that many people are going to come watch it offline.
For sure, for sure.
It is a bit of a shame though, because it is like essentially the World Cup. You know, it's
For
like
Strive,
it's
yeah.
like the final of a long ass world tour, which, you know, it's a bit of a shame. But I think it was fine.
Yeah, we don't know where the funding came from. We don't know what.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the first offline one in a while. But like, yeah, now that I think, yeah, Red Bull Kumite in like 2021, late 2021, that was insane.
Kumite was really damn good. I think that was the peak of Strive, personally. Just the way that it was produced and everything. Kumite was incredibly
Shout out to
impressive.
Spanish people, just in general.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That was
Not
really
even fighting games, just if you're
Just
Spanish,
everyone.
I like you.
For sure. Talking about things we like, let's start getting into our main topic of the day here. So I always write a little sentence here, but in general, I always go around Twitter, I ask around, I look what the feelings are in Discords, and with Street Fighter 6 coming up, right? I see so many people that are looking for advice specifically of like, how do I get into, or how do I prepare not just Street Fighter 6, but generally just I get like any fighting game, like how do I get into Strive? How do I prepare for Street Fighter 6? And for me, right, this is mostly players, but what isn't asked this much is how to get into running event or contribute to like kickstarting a scene, even your local Street Fighter 6 scene, right? So I kind of want to talk about you today, for sure, how to get into Street Fighter 6, but also kind of in general how to like how to get started with a community or get a community started, and kind of what role we play as community figures. Like, do we have responsibility, sharing knowledge, blah 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 blah. Sorry, Kaz, I interrupted you.
No, I interrupted you. My bad. No.
Okay, no.
Just do you want to get into how to get a community started, or how to get into a community?
I think both
Both,
things
kind of,
are
yeah.
fine, right? But I think it's more valuable to kind of how to get a community started, right? Because what I see a lot is people on Twitter like, "Oh, how do I get into Street Fighter?" People are like, "Oh, go to your local." I don't have a local, right? And that's kind of a situation that a lot of people find themselves in. And so I thought that maybe not providing a full resource on how to start a community, but just kind of the basic tips, if you have any. So Kaz, you seem to have.
No. Sorry. Goodbye. No. As in.
See ya.
You're kind of our local guy, so I really want to hear what you have to say about this. But I don't have any experience in like getting a like a community going, really.
I mean, you kind of did start with the Khezmen events, right? Like at this point,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
started establishing itself as a community. I'm not just talking about physical local communities, but like online communities as well, right?
I just see it as like, or I think that's how it, like, from what like it sounds like to me, that's how it always starts. Just like invite friends to a server and then
Mm-hmm.
play your game. You know what I
Yeah.
always preach: just play your game, find people that you like, and then see what goes from there. I mean, if you don't have a local, that's rough. I hear a lot of people with that. But
Yep.
how long do you want to travel? That's the real question here. Do you have a
Yeah.
local? How long do you want to travel?
Yeah, for sure. Laz, do you have anything before I start going off on my
Um,
usual tirade?
Yeah, I don't have a local, so like it's kind of one of those
Mm.
things. But the closest I've been, well, I guess technically I have a local, but it's for Smash. So like that was the closest I've ever been in terms of having like a local. And how we got to that point was basically it was like me and a couple of my roommates when I was at university. We just like playing Smash, you know. In our downtime, we used to play as kids all the time. And I think this was like Smash 4 era, and we played it all the time, and we thought we were pretty good. And we got kind of tired playing with each other, and we're like sent out little feelers to see, like, is there anyone else who plays this game like around us that we could play, like, and we found like another community of people who, it was a small community, like maybe 6 or 7 people who occasionally got together in the evenings or the weekends and played some Smash, or not just Smash. They played a bunch of like other retro games and things like that. That could be competitive or cooperative. And we went over there for a couple times and basically became friends with them. And then at some point we were just like, hey, what if we did like a Smash tournament? And then yeah, we just ran one, and just through advertisement and things like that, quite a few people turned up, and then that whole community started. Also, not really a part of it anymore, but that's where the locals come in. It's like more of a monthly thing, but that's about as close as I've been to having a local community. But since I don't really
Kind
play
of
Smash
sounds like
anymore, I don't really. Yeah,
does sound like a decent local though. Like,
it was great.
what were kind of the hurdles that you guys ran up on when you were like, all right, we're gonna do this tournament, or we're gonna meet up regularly? Like, were there any things that you had troubles with, and how did you solve those troubles?
Scheduling is like number one issue with
Yes,
anything
yes, of
social.
course.
Yeah,
Getting more than 5 people in the same room challenge impossible.
Yeah, we generally just did it on the weekend. It was more like venue issues, trying to find the right venue for it, that reasonable price, things like that. And like obviously most venues that you're gonna find outside of like big community halls, it's kind of hard. Like the people who own those other spaces don't really understand what you're trying to do. So that's the difficult part generally, is trying to explain to a pub owner why you should be able to run this stupid ass tournament of video games in their freaking function room, so unless you know the owner, so the other local that happened like a bit further away from me, that was in the basement of basically a classic fighting game basement. It was in the basement of a pub, and the person owned the pub, so like they already had, or at least knew who did, so they could easily do it whenever they want it done there.
Yeah. Sorry, I just realized I'm gonna look like a dickhead now. I totally did try to do something offline. I completely forgot about it. At the start of
let's go.
At the start of Strive, I tried to start a local in close to my city, where like an esports huge thing opened up basically. Main issue was like we had a date and everything, but like main issue is then that like we didn't have, or like on the day we realized we have to bring our own consoles, etc. So like yeah, the huge venue issues, and then the thing of like last minute cancellations of like four to five people saying, nah, I'm not coming today. So what I learned through that, and what I've done better through that, is expect only one person to show up and be okay with that, and have a plan for that. So if you want to like make it, that's the same. That also goes with like every online like community I joined or have been part of, or anything that when I found out like how they were made, it was always like, all right, group of friends, try to start something, and they were like, okay, if it's just you and me, we just do whatever. But they always had that fail safe, you know. And what came after was like the regularity, and with the regularity come the people. You know, you have to establish that you have something, and then people are more incentivized. Because at first time, people are like, "What is this? Do I want to go there?" And then like after 2 or 3 times, once they realize this is real shit, they start pulling up more. What I have experienced.
Yeah, that's I think that's a universal experience. So I'm like the co-organizer for my local, right? I was in a similar boat as Lazarus, where I was basically I just started doing commentary for JustDaveEU and basically just wanted to play offline, and figured out that we already had an FGC meetup locally around, and the only way I found out about it was actually by a friend in my local game store. I played competitive Magic back then, telling me about that meetup. All right. So then I went there, and it was literally what Kez said. Like, we were 3 guys with a computer that were just playing Kusogis the whole day. And that's the meetup, right? That was the meetup for about a month or 2. Then we started putting on events. I think the first event we did was actually Strife, when Strife came out, right? And then we just kind of started building on top of that. And I think so. The main challenges for building your local is the people, because you can't have a local without organizers and without people putting work in, because in the end it's a community effort. You can't build it without a venue. The venue is very important. What Last said is a very big part, that you need to explain to people what the hell you're doing. My personal tip is to see if there's like game centers close to you that can help you out. Like, there's actually gaming esports bars now for some reason.
Since like Meltdown, they're like everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. You can cooperate with those quite easily. And also, a prime hack that I found is talk to LGSs, like local game stores as well, because a lot of card stores have like a lot of space for their events that they run on the weekends.
They're all
And
play video games anyways.
yeah, they all play video games anyway, so you could just tell them, so hey, I'm bringing people in. We can ideally, you'll have like expand the customer base, and if not, we can efficiently use your space, right? So you can start talking to these kind of people, and then it's literally just that slow grind that Kez mentioned, right? Like, to show up every single week, be welcoming, and create the kind of space like from the start. Like, really start cultivating the space nice and early, because a mistake that happens a lot early on is that you just get everyone in, right? Like, oh, new person, come in, without questions. But I think it's really important to already start curating your spaces like as safely as possible.
Are you incentivizing gatekeeping? Am I to antagonize you a little bit?
Oh yeah, for sure. No. So if you're below gold on CFN, we are just not letting you in. Absolutely.
True.
Like, keep the skill level of your local at least at gold. If you're below gold, fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Really embarrassing.
No one wants that.
I'm mostly talking about people showing up and having gamer mannerisms, let's call it that. Just creating an uncomfortable environment for everyone. It's something that happened really early with us, and like me and the other organizer have a really hard stance on that, right? Because we have a lot of friends that are part of groups that get hated on regularly, so we really want to be able to invite our friends.
Grappler players, zoners.
Grappler players, zoners, exactly. I'm a zoner myself as well, so you know, it's really close to my heart.
All right, I didn't know that. See you guys next week on.
All right, goodbye, everyone. Wait, Kaz, what are you doing? No.
I have to cut that part out now.
What do you mean? That's perfect.
Alright, no, because it's fucked. No,
Hey, we're back.
because it fucks with the fucking camera
Oh, the
placement.
video.
Isn't that doubly funny?
No,
Isn't
yeah,
that doubly
it's good.
funny?
It's good. No, but you were, gamer
No, sorry.
mannerisms. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like keep your locals clean, keep them regular, and regular doesn't mean weekly, by the way. You can do it bi-weekly, or if you want to be cool,
Monthly.
fortnightly
Or
or monthly.
night.
Yeah,
But,
see, that's how you get people.
No,
Well, I didn't even know that was a word.
Okay,
What do you
so-
mean? Is that not the game?
So I think what you're really like trying to say, Dave, is like keep it somewhat. Man, I'm gonna sound like such a fucking internet brain rot. Like well moderated still.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely.
I think what you're not saying is like make a full background check on everyone and like only make it invite because it sounded.
Don't make it invite only.
Invite only, but like if they do gamer man, like you have to like enforce some basic human rules.
Have
at a
basic-
gathering.
See that people have basic decency, right? Like it's not about barring people out. I think that's a wrong approach, but it's about being incredibly aware while you're building your baseline about how I don't know what the vibe is, right? Like curate your vibes.
So I'm sorry, just to clarify, did you
Yes.
say not invite only or invite only?
Not invite only.
Okay,
No,
then
it
we're on the
always has to be open
Okay,
invite.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
everyone can literally show up. Ideally, right? But that's like me being the socialist cunt. Lower the barrier of entry as low as possible, right? See that at least at the start that you can keep the entry relatively low. A thing that we did is we actually for the longest time just had a bunch of pads and sticks and hitboxes that people could borrow because most people won't show up with equipment. They won't have their own. So if you want to introduce them to a hobby that has required equipment, I think it's very good if you can provide that to them, right?
My local
And
has
it's
like,
just
go ahead.
yeah. No, go ahead.
My local has like Kinka, the person who has been running the local I went to for like years, like decades
Mhm.
almost. He like builds a lot of sticks, so there's like at least 20 sticks that anyone can use. We had a Street Fighter 5 tournament where like
Cool.
one person who clearly had never played a fighting game, he just rotated through all the controllers. It was really fun.
so cool.
Fun. It was just like he was just looking out. He was just button mash. I've never seen someone button mash so hard in my life. It was really funny. Everything was
That's how you
streamed, and
know.
like I watched the commentary after, and like, a walking guile never has held down back. Something is not right here. Something like that. But yeah,
What is he cooking?
they still
But that's so
like,
cool.
the guy had so much fun. He just like tried every input. I've never seen a hitbox before. Let me try it. That was so fun to watch.
That is the coolest thing. That's the biggest draw, right? Our local is at a bar, and we literally get people from the bar. Like it's a gaming bar, so people just come downstairs and check out the computers and the TVs, etc. And they show up and are like, "Oh, holy shit, what is that thing?" We're like, "Hell yeah, that's an arcade stick. You want to try it out, right?" And then you hand them the arcade stick, and they get to try it out. They press some buttons, like, "Oh, that's really cool. What do you do with it?" Well, have you
The
heard of
Venus
our lo-
flytrap. It closes, and you
Thank
got the.
you. Thank you.
So
But yeah, no.
SOCD.
Yeah, so about the Korean backdash. You know about Tekken, right? No,
You want a little
but
bit of second?
no, but that's like the final thing that I think is important for building a local scene, like keeping the barriers of entry as low as possible while watching that entry closely, right? Like everyone gets to come in, not everyone gets to stay in, but ideally everyone should.
Yeah,
If that makes any sense.
I've rarely heard of people. I hope, like, I don't know. I think it's always like a story, and everyone in Europe already knows that person. Someone's banned from a local.
Yeah.
And you see them every time week 1 on ranked. Every time you see them, like, oh.
Okay.
It's always
Like,
those
yeah,
people.
but like, I don't want to like. To me, in my experience and from what I heard, doesn't happen that frequent. It's nice to have those systems in place, but from what I've heard, people that show up to locals are like sane people.
Yes, absolutely. The thing, like,
Usually.
the benefit you have is that you're meeting up in a real life, and people actually have like the proper filters in real life.
Yeah, it's
99% of the time, for sure.
you
Like,
yeah. You
yeah,
forget and underestimate how like you like gamer gathering. I don't really want to go there. Everyone there is gonna be weird. If you've ever went to like an offline tournament or something, and like you already experienced like the, you know, it's just. I think we are also very lucky in the fighting game community. You know, like I don't know. Maybe you can like. I don't know how it is for TCG community. Maybe you have some. It's the same there, but I'm just gonna say it. I've heard like every time someone talks about their local Smash scene, it sounds terrible. I've never heard shit like that about the FGC. I'm just gonna, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna say it every time I hear it.
Local.
Every time I hear it, every time I hear it, and I've never heard shit like barely heard shit like that in the FGC. It's always just like, oh no, that guy plays grappler and he smashed a stick. That's like the worst thing I've heard from people that are not bad.
yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing, right? Like, all people that organize locals most of the time are like good TOs, so they ban the problematic people. But yeah, I don't want to go too deep into TCG spaces because it's a traditional nerd space. So you have a lot of men there that are really proud of being men and share that with the world, and are really, really weird around anyone that isn't like a straight guy. It's a bit uncomfortable sometimes, but it's getting better right now, especially like after the pandemic. It's really fun to see like how many queers are showing up now to their LGSs, which is nice. So we're kind of reclaiming that space now because, you know, I don't know. I think TCGs are inherently a silly thing should be. Yeah, no, they are inherently gay. They're inherently queer. I don't know, man. I don't
I've heard
know.
that before. I've heard that.
There's just something kind of gay about sitting around and shoving cardboard around. I don't know, man. Why do you have a pretty playmat like that, huh? Wanna kiss that dragon on the mouth? I don't know, man. I don't know. Me too. Anyway, you can cut that one out. Actually, that's a way better one to cut out. I'm sorry, that bit got away from me so fucking.
I just let you cook, man. I was like, I'll let you cook.
Don't let me cook. Never let me cook.
Who let him cook?
Who let me cook, bro? Anyway.
I think we have to like pick this up next week, but we have to like what I talked about in like VC the other day, what I like really never noticed that much. I like it's probably a global thing, and I'm just realizing it in one of the communities I'm active in. But the amount of non-binary people, or just like in like a nerd hobby, and like non-straight white dudes. Like the amount that people are in the FGC, I think I fucked that sentence up, but I think you guys know what I mean. A lot of gay people, a lot of non-binary people. I don't know if it's like just an FGC thing, or if it's like, you know, the world is just that, and it's just the community I'm active in, blah blah blah. But like, am I going like?
That's a big subject.
Man. Shout out to the
but
FGC.
Yeah, I think it is a bit of like inclusivity in general.
Are we just more exclusive? Are we just better? Are we just better? Well, I think we have to talk about this like next week, but that's just like something.
I'm really, really down of talking about like queer representation in the FGC because
the straight white dudes.
I'd also highly recommend inviting a person that actually knows what they're knows what they're talking about. Yeah, for sure. Let's invite another white dude.
Straight white dude.
For sure. Like me as the token queer on this triumvirate, I personally just feel a lot safer now with the spaces. I don't know, because it's mostly because I started digitally, and digitally it's way easier to be queer. I feel, right? Because there's much less risk connected with it. Because in real life, if you're like expressively queer, there's always a tin of danger there. For me, way less because I present primarily mask, right? Like the fruitiest thing I do is paint my nails and sometimes do makeup, but that's about it. But like, yeah, for sure. Again, like I already said I'm a zoner, so. But yeah, no, but in general, it's just feels like that. After the scene restarted, the people are already bringing their friend from online, and that's just a bunch of Discord queers. Like that's just how it is, right?
Yeah,
So it just feels a lot safer.
Yeah, we have to talk this in like a whole separate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
way too big a subject.
Actually, that's a topic for next week.
But
Good.
like, yeah, the speaking
Yeah.
of offline, that's something like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna I feel like if you get more into the FGC right now, that's something, and you want to start a community, and maybe you're a little bit sheltered. That's something that you have to be also prepared for. That I think that okay. That leads into like the point that you were saying before, that you have to create that safe space right now, and you have to enforce these rules because of how much of a factor that is now.
Yeah, for sure. Like a thing that we had to regulate in our community was like the usage of the word trap, right? Like it was something that was used quite frequently, and it's a word that has a lot of really rough baggage. So we just try to inform people that to keep in mind how to use that word, right? Like, oh, do you know where it comes from? Blah blah blah. And now most people don't use it anymore, though all people actually don't use it anymore, and it's fine, right? But that was like one of the examples that we just decided to take a hard stance on, right? Because we do have a bunch of trans members in our community.
I can't think of a frame trap. I had like
You really
planned out
tried
in my
that.
head, but I couldn't make the words fit together.
You should really frame the word trap in a way that doesn't leave you minus.
Did you come up with that right now?
Yes,
That's
hello.
not bad.
It's me.
insane.
I'm
That's-
spitting.
Holy shit, that's a tweet. No. Before this comes out, tweet that. Holy shit. Holy shit, that was so good.
That's some money. That's a hit tweet right there.
Oh man.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, like I think that's genuinely the worry, or like the one scenario, because I don't think people show up with the intention of being exclusive, right? Because again, those people don't exist outside of Twitter. But it's important to have the like come in with the intention to, once you have a shelter person showing up, to like be able to take them by the hand and be like, yo, bud, can we talk about this, right? And that's the important part for me anyway.
Speaking of like communities, this all led in with like Street Fighter 6, right?
That's true. Let's
So
circle
we've
back to
started.
that.
What do you guys think about like entering established communities? What do you guys think of even the place that quote unquote communities are going to have in a game with the potential to be as big as Street Fighter? Because that's something that we talk about on Hard Edge, the pretty much German fighting game community, a lot, that the whole community quote unquote thing is dying pretty much. At a certain not length, but like size of a hobby and a quote unquote community, a central community hub doesn't function. See Street Fighter 5 and Tekken compared to all the anime games that we play, where a central hub is sort of necessary and fields a lot of it's
There's
out
not
there
a central hub for those games.
Do you have a one central hub for Tekken and Street Fighter like we do for DNF, for example? DNF is a hard
I wouldn't
example.
say there's like I wouldn't say there's like a hub, but I will say that I think the community of people who play those games are not that far apart. If
Not that
makes
far
sense.
apart.
Like,
Yeah. But are just the top players the community? Is there like, of course, there's a bunch of private servers, but is there a huge server for quote unquote enter word community? It seems to me like a lot of things are moving to more private community. You know?
I think that was my experience when getting into Street Fighter 5, right? Like I originally wanted to like get into the Street Fighter community because that's what I was used to from Magic the Gathering, right? Like you go to the Discord server, you talk to the people, you go to deck building, and then you get called something, and then you mute the Discord and leave it 2 weeks after. But for Street Fighter, the big hubs were they were fine, I guess, but like if you had to basically go deeper. They were less hubs and they were more like portals to the character discords, and that's where you got the main discussions.
And even top players are
And
rarely active there. It's like
no, they're not.
it's another small community, you know, like it keeps getting smaller.
Yes. And I think there's value to that. I personally don't think that like after a certain number of people, you just cannot get good good conversations out of it anymore, right? Like because the beginner channel is gonna have always the same questions, so you can more or less automate that or just write a guide and forward to the guide. And then the top players will be talking amongst each other, right? The Honda players will talk about their frame traps or whatever, while the the two Honda players.
They will.
That's a small community.
Like I don't know, man. I personally don't think there's a lot of value in like the big hubs,
Yes.
especially with something as expectedly big as Street Fighter 6.
I know some.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like the boomers don't like that very much, but I am a big defender of private Discord. I am on record saying I'm going to give up public Discords with Street Fighter 6 because I just like I don't know. I just can't take it anymore. I just can't take hearing anything from anyone anymore. You know what I mean?
The only reason to join a
the
big
edge.
public Discord is to join an event, and that's
Yes.
it. Right? Like if you wanna do events, or if you're looking for a specific matchmaking, like a specific matchmaking modifier that isn't available in the game, you go to the public Discords. Otherwise, just I don't know, put it all on Google Docs, put it onto dustloop, and I'll read it from there. I don't want to join your Discord. I don't want to hear fucking Kami Master 15 post about spandex suits.
Yeah, or like what like the very obvious new player take, or like you know just what you said, the shit that you have to hear over and over again, you know, or like the arguments between someone who's very clearly put very little time in the game, very emotional.
Oh my god!
Which always happens, and I don't know, but every time, yeah.
My favorite thing when I was learning Under Night was going to ask for questions in the phone-on channel and then getting a bunch of replies from not phone-on mains. Like, oh, I don't play her, but...
Reddit moment.
All the time! All the time! You know what? Let's use this opportunity to jump on the soapbox and say that Discord isn't a knowledge base. Discord isn't a wiki. Put your fucking shit in a wiki or on a Google Doc and stop putting it in random Discord channels. I think this used to be like discourse a few months ago, and
every 3 months.
Why is this a point of discussion? Discord is a fucking chat service. It's not even a forum, right? It's not even a fucking forum. Because I can see the argument for a forum, but motherfucker, don't point me to the pins. I will gouge your eyes out. I swear to the Lord. Put it on Super Combo. Give me the information.
Dude, have you
I don't know.
been to Super Combo?
I have been.
Sucks.
It does. You know why? because everyone fucking because everything's on Discord.
It sucks, man. It really, really sucks.
I wish Super Combo was better. I wish every
what do you mean? Dustloop. What is on Discord? Like I genuinely don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't think I've ever been exposed to this kind of thing where it's like, oh, the only tech that exists is in a Discord channel. It's like
what Dave is talking about is what we have taken Dustloop for granted. Let me start it like that. Anime games that we play have very well, like it's in the culture of anime games that they are like fairly decently kept wikis. For Street Fighter specifically Street Fighter 5, I think you're like referring to mostly. The wikis are all dog shit, but the character servers have like the good shit in it, in like the weirdest fucking formats in the pins, you know? So it's like very poorly formatted, and for some reason that stayed as like status quo for like the entire lifespan of 5.
Fucking okay, I just went to the Colleen Discord, right? To show you an example. Resources and tech, the main thing about OSs like is a fucking pinned YouTube comment, YouTube video from 2017 about like option selects.
God.
And it's just not being kept properly. And then you gotta go to this channel. Oh, do you have the role? Oh, here's a few links, and here's just fucking optimal punishes typed out in a text box. What?
It's freaky. It's freaky because I don't know what led to it. I really don't know what led.
Wait, I'm sending.
I
you
guess
a
I'm
screenshot.
just like, I'm not the target audience for this. I'm like the fighting game player that I just don't like looking shit up. I don't like.
I don't either.
No, but I mean, as in, if I look something up that someone else has done, I won't understand why, and I won't be able to use it like basically nearly as effectively. So I just tend to not do that. So I've just never engaged with stuff like that.
I'm a very
feel it as a
theoretical
mess.
learner. I like to like read shit up and then use it in the match and then like branch out from there. So this is an example for messages that you get. Like this is information that should be on Super Combo but isn't.
I just wrote down that I put that picture.
Maybe like it's really good information. Shoutouts to Monty and the Colleen Discord crew, because they still have like one of the best knowledge bases out there, but goddamn put it into Super Combo.
I don't know what it is about like every game on Super Combo, every Capcom game, Darkstalkers is pretty well kept, I think. But like the mainline Street Fighter games, I think like
I did find that weird, to be fair. It's like if I want to like Google, like, they got the SAT thing, which is all the frame data stuff, which is great to have that. Like they even got it as an app and stuff. But like if I was trying to look at specific things within a move, like properties and stuff, it's just like no centralized wiki to find this stuff out.
You said VSAV, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Misumi, because it's all on Misumi wiki. That one is actually the good one. But that's like the
okay.
So there's Dustloop, there's Misumi, which is bootleg anime ones for all the Kuzuges and Multiblood. And then like there should be Super Combo, but it's like all fucked up. I don't know what it is about Street Fighter games where they like, or what isn't about anime culture where they just feel the need to update like a wiki. Because like even for Third Strike, you know, the Urian guide, how to like play Urian like a Mongolian or something. It's like the best guide to play Urian. But it's like in a Google Docs, it's like a full-on meme. You know, it's super.
Isn't there the Ibuki spreadsheet that's like the 17-page like document that's just like how to play Ibuki in Street Fighter like 4? I think that's like a big meme.
Yeah. But I mean, I took the Urian one because I think it's also relatively recent and it's really well done. He made like a video where he like got a guy from Fiverr to read the intro out like an actual Mongolian thing.
That's good.
I don't know what it is about Street Fighter, but that's gonna be tough in 6.
I mean, it's because they have the frame data in the game. That's. I don't think any of the other games have got the damn frame data, bro.
It goes
you
beyond
gotta look
that.
it up in a wiki.
It's not about.
I mean,
frame
obviously
data.
it's an exaggeration, but
you know how well kept Dustloop shit is. You know how like just the basic stuff. Any combo.
Yeah. Most things.
But let's
again, I've never really used stuff like that. I never really looked at combos, and I feel like again, I don't know how good they are, right? Either like it's a similar thing to asking a question on Discord, like, oh, what's my optimal route here? And some, you know, Johnny bad guy 64 replies like, oh, you just do this. Is that any more right than whatever's someone put in a wiki? Because isn't that like openly edited as well?
The thing is, like, if I find it on Super Combo, I can just look it up, right? But if I have to go to the Discord and then pray that somebody replies to me, or have to dig through 16 things, and like Discord isn't necessarily going to stick around. We have no idea what's going to happen. If everything's documented on Discord and I don't know, one of the servers disappears, shout outs to my nut server. I don't know how you're still up, but you know, I pray for you. But if one of those servers disappears for any reasons, all that tech is fucking gone.
It's Dave. It's not gone.
It stays with the players.
It's up here.
That's like, yeah, that leads to like a good point of like, it's how the fuck are you like, or not how the fuck are you going to learn Street Fighter 6, but like you have such, I genuinely think you have such an advantage in Street Fighter 6 if you have a very good player that you can ask questions, which is we are like used to small anime games where like we're all a community and like you can add everyone on Discord. You know, we have the centralized hub. This is the point that I was going to get into before I had to cut it out and my brain went fart, you know? But if you don't have a centralized hub, brings like a understanding of community with it, you know? You can add the best players and they can talk to you. If you don't have that, how are you going to reach any of the SFL Pro players? Right?
Short answer?
I think everyone learns different. Like, I don't think you could say, "Oh, you need to ask questions on someone who's good at the game to know how to play it." Like,
no, but
some people.
But getting to that information, you know, getting to that, getting that specific, the very specific thought process and tech from players. You know, if it's not available in the wiki, if the community is not small enough where you can reach them, you have to like know them, you know, to like genuinely ask them, you know. I hope they stream and are good at answering. I was in Just a Kid stream yesterday and I like wanted to ask him like sort of in-depth questions on stalking with jury, and he was like, and he always said the same thing, like I went specific with every question, like, yeah, you can special cancel the first hit of standing medium kick, and I'm like, what? And I left with nothing. If that was documented anywhere, or I knew him personally and I could ask him better.
Another reason, right? I mean, people who are good at the game, the top players of a character, don't necessarily understand. Like, they don't necessarily have that, like, tech advantage. Like, they don't have this big brain knowledge. Some people are just good at the game for other reasons than just, like, oh, I know all the setups. Also, like, being good at the game doesn't make you a good teacher. Being a good teacher is very, very hard, right? Yeah.
Like, it's very tough. I think the only person that's, like, good at teaching stuff in Street Fighter is Brian F. and at some points nephew.
Some for the content creators. There's a lot of pro players that are that's what I mean. If you have the chance and the resources to talk to them, you get a lot out of these players. And I have that experience with every game, and the only thing that changes is with I feel with Street Fighter is the availability of the players. In smaller anime games, it is more likely that the very top players and the knowledgeable players are more available. In like a huge game where I'm just gonna call it, this is like negative connotation, but you know, if it gets too Hollywood, you don't really, you know, have that space to approach them, you know.
Yeah, I think I see what you mean, but I mean that's a unique advantage that we have in the FGC, because a lot of players are very present. Like, once you're at that level, you'll be fighting them on ladder anyway, so you could just shoot them at the end on CFN, ideally.
If you're on that level, but how many percent of people is that? 1% of people. You need to get there.
Maximum, for sure.
But like, what percentage of those people want to be like? I don't know how to phrase this, but like, not everyone wants to be at the pro level, right? They just want to have a basic understanding, so they don't need to be taught by the professional, if that makes sense.
No, but like I'm talking specific tech, and maybe it's just fighting games where we have such a low amount of players. People that are at that level have it just down to a science sometimes that content creators can't. You know, you have to like get the best of the best people sometimes. They're just the best spot, you know, because they are the best. They know what the best, even if they can't properly, you know, show it or like articulate it.
Which is the point where you really need somebody to extract that knowledge, right? Like, if if that knowledge is valued, you need to have proactive knowledge extraction, right? Like that's how expertise works in general. That's how it works in the private sector as well, right? You can, like, a lot of specialists are people that understand what they're doing. They're really, really good at it, but they won't be able to like properly explain it to another person. So one of the jobs of like a manager or a product owner is knowledge extraction, to be able to like give that on to somebody else, be it another player or like a person that is supposed to do a similar job in the end,
Yeah.
or just wants parts of that, right? Or wants to build on top of it. So
I mean,
yeah, sorry.
what stops you extracting that knowledge yourself? I mean, while you might not be able to talk to the pro players, like there will definitely be avenues to watch. Like, I mean, frankly, at that level, like you're talking, you know, what's making the difference? Like, how are you going to be the best? It's probably like how good you are the matchups, things like that. You could watch someone who plays the same character as you, who's a professional player in the matchup you want to learn, and why can't you break it down yourself? Like, I know not everyone has that same ability, but isn't that
it's way harder to, specifically when looking for a game plan or a matchup. And let's just like a game plan, a neutral in a matchup. It's maybe it's just me, but I think it's extreme. Like, you are already a really good player if you can just extract that by just watching.
Yeah, but isn't that the advantage that you have by being a good player? Like, you got to get to that point first, and then you can get better. Like, you can't just skip steps.
Exactly, but you would if you could ask them. That's what I mean.
Well, not necessarily, but yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'd say if you skip that step,
right?
you
skip that
but you don't.
That step of having to watch it, because you get to just in that specific scenario, you just get told what is happening.
You get told, yeah, but you don't. I feel like, again, this just goes back to me. I don't internalize that. If I'm just told do this because I don't understand the reasoning, I don't get why or whatever. But if I can watch it and I have to break it down myself, then it makes a lot more sense to me.
I mean, it kind of goes down to the dichotomy of like innovator versus honer, right? Like, if you're Laz, I see you more as an innovator. You're somebody that needs to experience and like come up with things yourself, right? While for me, for example, we've established I'm not a competitive player, right? Like, I have no aspirations for the top, but I still would like to understand what is happening to me while somebody is beating my ass. But I would much rather have it laid out in front of me so I can have all the data points and then connect them to experiences, instead of the other way around where I make the experiences first and then create the data points, right? I genuinely think it's just a learning type or like an enjoyment type difference, if that makes sense.
I get it. I mean, I'll give you like a really basic breakdown. Like, for me, let's say I get opened up by a situation. For me, the best thing I could do is go into a lab, record the situation that opened me up, lab different situation, like how to beat it, and then I learned it, I got to practice it, and then boom, it's internalized. But almost like what you guys are asking is, you just want someone to tell you that, like, oh, how do I beat this? And someone just tells you that, and then now you just try and run that option instead.
Do you remember us playing a lot of DNF at the start? We literally ran into that situation where you like blew me the fuck up, and I'm like, all right, how do I beat this? And you're like, I don't fucking know. I just do it. Just try shit out.
I think I'm actually pretty good at explaining things, but yeah, I think it depends. But
I don't know. It was very, very new. Like, you were literally. It was early. I'm not saying you didn't understand what you were doing. It was more like,
you were
yeah, I get you. It was probably like
fuck you, fuck you. You were carried by Lost Warrior in the first.
Definitely, I actually probably was.
But yeah, no. I think we've veered a little bit outside of the intended sphere of discussion here. So I wanna, before we finish this off, circle back a little bit and just get a final piece of advice from Papa Kez, Papa Laz. Papa Laz, what do I do to prepare myself for Street Fighter 6?
I hate to be the one to say it, but you play Street Fighter 6. I don't, like, genuinely, I can say, oh, play Street Fighter 5, like, whatever. I mean, you'll skip some steps if you play Street Fighter 5. You'll get used to having the 6-button layout and things like that, which will get you somewhat ready for the execution and the combos and things like that, which are very similar in Street Fighter 6. but the game is just 100% different. It's just way different. The things are good with the different, you know, just how you open people up, way different. Everything is so different that there's no way of preparing outside of you can play Street Fighter 6 right now, and there's nothing it can do to stop you. I mean, there's a certain element of that. It's going to kick you ahead of the game, but we'll see. I think it'll be. I'll have to wait and see to when the game releases, but I think that's going to be a really big point of contention. But I think that's the best thing you can do.
Nice. Kez, what's your number one advice for becoming the number one player in Street Fighter 6 and getting invited to that Street Fighter League?
If for some reason you are a new fighting game player and not the only people that are watching us who have been in the fighting game community for 10 years and you know my first name, already familiarized yourself with fighting games and fundamentals, you know, play anything ground-based, you know, don't play any crazy shit, I think.
Play the end of Duel.
Yeah, play it's ground-based.
Honest ground-based.
And that goes back to my point, join a community and make other friends to converse with the game and help you grow. Join a community where maybe there's a good player that, you know, you can ask at some point, you know, and find an environment where you can improve easily and play the fucking game. Everyone who plays the game actively will be deep. Always the case. Always out. If you're an established player, play the crack. If you're good at labbing, play the crack. Lab something, hope it doesn't.
There's a limit to that, but yeah.
Yeah, there's
because you're missing half the cast.
Yeah, there's a limit to that. I'm not I have to crack download it. You know, I everyone who knows me, I don't go to training mode. I press the same 2 combos because they're fun, and then I turn the shit off.
Yeah.
I
combo go burr.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I want to play the game competitively. Everyone's calling me a moron, you know, but it's just like I can't be ours. I really can't be ours. But same thing. Establish an environment that helps you grow. You know, I think that depending on what kind of person you are, but that's, you know, make sure you enjoy the time primarily. Because if you hate the game, that's going to be the number one reason you're going to play bad.
Yeah. I think I can echo that
Wise
as well.
words.
Like, I think my number one advice would literally be find friends that also want to play Street Fighter 6 and just play fighting games with them. That's the best way to prepare at the very, very ground level. In the end, fighting games are fighting games. Each one is like pretty different. So if you want to prepare for Street Fighter 6, if you want to do it optimally, you play Street Fighter 6, right? But other than that, just play fighting games. A lot of the concepts are universally transferable. And the most important thing about being able to stick with Street Fighter 6 once it's come out is having the people around you that will play with you. Like, again, literally invite 3 of your friends to Discords, give them all a copy of Plus R or I don't know what, and just play the game with them. Just do something. Just have fun. Enjoy it as a hobby. I think that's actually a thing that I really liked from Kez, right? Like, just have fun with it, play the game, enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, you know, go do something else. It's fine.
Sometimes you're not going to enjoy it playing competitively. That you also have to recognize that comes with. If you play anything competitively, you're going to fucking hate it at some point. Because, like, nothing is ever perfectly balanced. Even if it's like close to it, the one thing that's improperly bad, it's gonna be every standing medium punch. It's gonna be
drive rush.
Oh, drive rush!
I can't check it. It's unreactable.
There's gonna be something
drive impact
that is objectively gonna be poorly balanced, and that you're gonna get hit by 10 matches in a row. But you have to like get over that. You have to.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah, it's part of it. There's never gonna be something that's.
Learn how to wake up DP. Do it, Chad. Just do it. Just let that rip.
Why not?
Cool.
Yeah. Depending on which one you do, Drive Impact beats.
You know, but we'll learn that in time. But that means that we've arrived in the end game, and the end game is home to the one and only eyeball zone, where we focus ourselves on some upcoming really, really cool projects that we like. And I know Kez, would you like to tell the class what you brought for us today?
Okay. So I wrote a pretty our friend Kim Precision is doing a little tournament called Shit Show. He approached me on that a while ago. I think we like announced it on like the last Pull My Card. Was it this year or last year?
Last year, I think.
That's it.
Last year, pull my card was before 2023.
Oh, you should be able to just look at
I
it
thought
in
so,
the
yeah.
Discord.
Something like it was either early. It's been 3 months definitely, but like he announced it there. It is a ripoff of that one. Like I'm just like we all said it of like that one Smash tournament where
Things happening to good people.
it's a Guilty Gear Strive tournament, but you can agree to play literally anything else. Single a limb and 150
Thank God.
pounds, dollars prize pool. You can agree to anything, and I am TOing. Kim's gonna host and everything. It's his tournament. I'm going to TO, and we're gonna make sure that it's going to be primarily entertaining to watch. It's gonna be.
I
next
might be on
Friday.
commentary. I might
Might.
be there.
Lazarus might
I-
be too. I think you
yeah.
two approached him or something.
I've
we don't
approached
know.
him already. Yeah.
I haven't, but
Something
I
like
said-
that.
You should, Laz. Look, this is
well, I
the
asked
one.
Kez, that's it.
This is the one Strive tournament I'll actually commentate this year.
It's better to be Strive, I imagine.
Tumbleweed and Elios are already playing, so that we can't get Europe's hardest fight Kate chills to commentate. Those two are crazy. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It already has like the tweet has like 150 retweets or some shit, and there's like
Yo.
30 signups. So it's going to be crazy, and it's going to be a nightmare to TO when I have to like jump into a voice call and hear like 2 rap battles and then have to winner or some shit. But I'll do it for
Unironic-
Sounds great.
Unironically, run it on Smash GG because this is the one point, like this is the one format where the whole system
we already have
of
signups. We
the
can't.
just
I
do
mean,
it again.
Kim
It's
said- no,
on brand.
No. Kim said he should have done it, but like we're not gonna do it. We
All right.
in the Discord server we made channels where they can talk.
Okay,
We
that's
just
fine.
have to figure. It's like
That's
the first time. It's gonna be fun.
It'll
It's
just
gonna be a
add
shit show. That's
a
the
layer
whole
of
point.
chag. It'll just add a layer of chag. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Can't wait. When is that again?
Next Friday, the 2023, 23rd. Next Friday. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Twitch.tv/Kim Precision. I'm not gonna play. Sadly, I'm going to sure everything.
All right.
I will
God
not.
bless
yeah,
you and your soul, Kez.
I will not rest until not a single game of Strive is played on that.
Bless you for your
If I
service,
sign
good
up,
sir.
I will not be playing Strive. Don't you worry, bro.
Bro, we're playing Strive, but I'm gonna be inviting you via Parsec to play Strive with me through that. This is gonna be great.
You have to agree.
if-
Both players have to agree.
Bro, it would be so fucking funny. Trust me. Just do it. Anyway, check out Shit Show. It's gonna be great. We'll probably include the tweet somewhere in the description. Editing Kaz, put up the tweets. And with that, it's time to say goodbye and to ask Laz, in the next weeks, if people wish to hunt you down, where can they find you?
Yep. You can go find me at UILazarus on Twitter and potentially twitch.tv sometime in the future again. I don't know. I haven't streamed in a while. Also, I got to do one last shout out. You know,
Do it.
every other podcast we've done it. Big shout outs to Rexu, of course.
Oh
You know,
my
I got
God.
a good story. We missed it, but hey, he's gonna get
Oh,
shout out.
that's
We'll
true.
make this a thing
Missed
now.
it.
Big shout out to Rexu. We watched the Arc World Tour together, and he fell asleep on the mic, and he was snoring. It was it was so good. It was so good. And he stayed in there until about 6 a.m. apparently. And I think Snake Belmont went in there and woke him up.
That's really
he was still in
funny.
the chat. It was so good. You could hear his
I'm gonna
That was-
meet
sorry,
Rexu
Rexu.
soon at Mix Up. It's gonna be nice.
You haven't met him yet? Oh
No,
my
I've never met him.
gosh. I
We
guess,
always
yeah,
miss each other.
That's so sad. He's great.
All right, Kez, where can the Hitman locate you?
Hitman, stay away from me.
Hypothetically,
Hitman, stay away from me. I'm not trying to get any of that. I haven't played that matchup.
Checkmate.
Checkmate. Twitch.tv/Khezmen and same on Twitter and this YouTube channel.
Nice. Anything cool coming up next week?
I'm doing. If you stuck around till the end, which I'm not gonna. I look at the YouTube statistics. Hey, that one guy. I'm probably making a Street Fighter
Hey,
weekly
answer.
to prepare for Street Fighter 6, where we play all 3 Street Fighter games: Street Fighter 3, 4, and 5. the only Street Fighter games out there. Yeah, until Street Fighter 6 comes out. That's gonna be like a weekly on Fridays.
That'd be sick.
Pog. Very nice. For me, you know where to find me. Twitter.com/JustDaveEU. Where I currently mostly complain about moving and thirst post about Bowser from the Mario movie. I have zero interest in that movie, but goddamn, that lizard is doing things to me. Other than that, he's double cheeked up on a Friday night. It's incredible. I don't know, man.
Hello.
I made one comment, and I'm never gonna live it down. Really?
No. Look. Lazarus was cooking.
I was
I'm
spitting.
just following. So he was spitting. He was 100% spitting. That's
And
a good
dribbling,
intro right there.
perhaps.
It's absolutely good. This is what happens when you put like 3 men in a room and have them make a podcast. I got laughed at for telling my partner to that I made a podcast now.
Yeah.
It was.
I haven't told mine yet.
No.
I can't break that to her.
I can't blame her for that, but it was still very funny that she immediately burst out laughing. Like, of course you do have a podcast now. It's just very entertaining. Other than that, I don't know. I'm trying to not overwork myself, so I won't be commentating too much. But I will be available this Sunday over at twitch.tv/MissSleepy to commentate the Grand Blue versus Captains events. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, other than that, I want to thank all of you for watching. Make sure to hit us with the feedback. And, you know, if you have topics you want discussed or just smaller things you want to put on the soapbox for us to tear down, I don't know, DM Kez on Facebook.
On Facebook. Good luck, bro. Good luck.
Add me on MySpace and send me something there. Bro, all right. Add me on Fest.
I was there.
How about that?
Catch me on Habbo Hotel. Good night, everyone.
Yo!
Oh my throwback.
Goodbye.
Anyway.